On CNN, I was questioned after I spoke in 2007 about Barack Obama. And CNN said, well, what do you think about this young man? I said, I think he's brilliant. I think he has fresh ideas. But I'm under no illusion that even if he did become president, that he could change the reality of black suffering in America, because when you are running for something, you can say a lot of things, but when you sit in the seat and you feel the energy of electricity putting something on your backside, the forces that surround power is always the real power. President Obama does not run this country. President Obama has been chosen to govern white affairs. And if in that process we get something, it won't be because the governing powers want it. It will be because we organized and forced a government to speak to our needs. Now, look.
Hey, what's up everybody? How you doing? I hope you're super great wherever you are. Happy Black History Month to everyone, and I hope the videos that I offer you are so much educative. Now, there is an important video that I want us to talk about. It's a reflection of the Black History Month, something that we are trying to talk about. And I think it reaches a point where we need to discuss this. I'm an African who is interested in Black history, being a Black History Month. I think it is right for us to have a talk because this is important. Now, Black leaders are chosen with ambition of representing Black people. But somewhere in the middle, something happens. They start going for the interest of white elites. They start following the policies of the white elites instead of Black folks that chosen them. And this means that they'll not be following, they'll not be representing the needs of Black folks who chose them. At the end of the day, it is a Black person who is serving a white government. This is something that has happened for the longest time. And Black folks are sitting down asking themselves, what can we do to help this? As a person who is interested in history, I took a look at this video by Minister Farrakhan and tried to look his explanation and see how the white elites are using Black leaders to still present their ambition, to present their goals. And this is number one problem of the Black government. Sometimes we choose the Black government, believing, hoping that our saviors come. But still the problems are still happening. There are key references that we can look in history of the things that happened. When we look at Booker T. Washington and Du Bois, when you look at Jesse Jackson and Aisha Patton, when you look at Barack Obama, in this question, we are talking about, Mr. Farrakhan is talking about Barack Obama. I want us to watch this video. It will be so helpful to give you a perspective of what we're trying to talk about. As you know, this is a presenter Jindoc Stories. If you're watching this video for the first time, I'll most ask you to subscribe to our channel, join our membership, and really get to see what we can offer you. Let's watch the video. I'll be back with my commentary. Hope you love it, learn from it, and share with people like-minded like you. Let me see you at the end of the video. I'll give my commentary at the end.
Thank you for the question. You know, I want it clearly said in love that I love my brother. I voted for him. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I was out there with my wife voting for our brother. I, like you, am very proud that a black man sits in the White House. But I also understand very clearly, and we should understand that it is the White House. And until we exercise power to force that house to address our agenda. Now remember, our dear sister Julianne Malvo mentioned A. Philip Randolph. Man, that was a long time ago. And the cry was jobs and justice. In the March on Washington in 1963, the cry was jobs and justice. In the 20-year anniversary of the March on Washington, the cry was jobs and justice. We are now in 2010. And what is the cry? Jobs and justice. Well, wait a minute. How long are you going to sit around begging white people to do for us what we have the power to do for ourselves? Excuse me. I'm quite passionate, so you all set me off. You know that. And I love it. But listen, an agenda is a program, a schedule, a timetable, a plan, a list, a scheme to accomplish a certain result. We have come up with black agendas, but we've been looking to the wrong people to fulfill our agenda. If Franklin Delano Roosevelt said to A. Philip Randolph, yeah, everything you told me is right. The Negroes need this, the Negroes are suffering that. Now you go out and make me do it. Do you think that having a black face in the White House means that we don't have to make him do it?
That's right.
That's right. Who surrounds him? Let me even go up a bit further. I just...
It's all right. It's all right, Minister.
Look. Our brother is brilliant. He got a good heart. I think he really loves America and wants to make America better. He wanted to ease the pain between America and the Muslim world. He wants to solve the problem of Israel and the Palestinians. He has the heart to want to make America better. But he's like that camel in the Quran that God warned the people, don't hamstring his camel. They didn't care what God wanted. They hamstrung the camel. Every one of our brothers and sisters that spoke today, we have a right to expect something from our brother. 97% of our people voted for him. Yes, there's trouble asset relief program, but there's post no. There is still racist America between the money being sent down and it coming to those who need it most. If he does not use his bully pulpit to address that, we can fault him for that. But wait a minute. In love.
Everybody say it.
In love.
Say it again. One more again.
Okay, I want to deal with that word. Because love is bigger than some emotional feeling. The word love, you can change the vowel O to I and the consonant V to F. When you have love, real love, you have life. And that's why the scripture says we can tell that we have passed from death into life because we love the brotherhood. Okay? Now, I was with Elijah Muhammad one day, my teacher, and he said to me, "Brother, you're always talking about love. Define it for me." And I went into my Webster's emotional dictionary stuff, and he said, "Brother, where there is freedom, where there is justice, where there is equality, there is love and there is life." Our problem is we have been looking to the wrong source to give us freedom, justice, equality, love, and life. O.J. Simpson was charged with murder. And in a court of law with a jury of his peers, he was set free. A lot of folk didn't like that, so they sued him. And he lost in court because even though he was not convicted of murder, they said he's responsible. White folk are rich and powerful, the rich and powerful, because black folk worked for 310 years as chattel slaves and got not one day's pay. I could call out the rich and the powerful whose riches have been gotten on our backs, but I'll save that for another time. The point is, the present generation of whites did not do this. But the present generation of whites are in their privileged position because of what a former generation of whites have done. Now the question is, a black agenda should be put before them, because if they don't accept the responsibility to clean up this problem, you don't have a lot of time to wait 40 more years for a benevolent white president or a benevolent black president. That day is over. America is facing the judgment of God as we sit around this table. Look at the weather. Look at the world turning down on her. America is bankrupt. $13 trillion in debt. And if you figure Medicare and Medicaid, she's over $60 trillion in debt. She can never pay it. That's why she voted for $650 billion in armament, because she can't pay the debt. But she can bully those whom she is in debt to with fear over her military prowess. I'm here to tell you she's losing there too. Now I close. Our people need repair.
Yes.
We need repair from 310 years of chattel slavery, where black men were forced to be studs, to make black women pregnant, to make more slaves for the slave master. And that same unhealthy attitude of misusing our women and making babies that we have no desire to take care of is still with us. Willie Lynch, who gave the ways that we could keep being divided so that they could rule us for 1,000 years, that sickness is still with us. Yes, we got a black president, but brother said it was confusion. He confused the issue. But really, he never wants to lose the white vote. So if he loses the white vote, he don't care that you voted for him. But if he loses the white vote, he feels he will lose. Dear brother, if you're watching, out of love,
Out of love.
There it is. That's right.
you won't lose the white vote of those whites that really understand this problem and know that this problem needs to be solved, and we can't keep relegating it to generation after generation because a few of us got a little money, a few of us got positions, a few of us have wealth, while the masses of our people are going steadily down. No one man can rise above the condition of his people.
Amen.
So, President Obama, this august body of brothers and sisters that really love you want you to use your bully pulpit, but then after you do that, then what about us? See, brother said responsibility. Is it that we should let them take responsibility to do for us, or should we pool the knowledge that's at the table, the power that's in our community, the wealth that's in our community to change the harsh reality of black life in America? He can create an atmosphere,
That's what it is.
but we have to do the job of fulfilling the black agenda. Thank you very much.
That is a perfect segue to this. Can y'all see this? What's that say?
Brainwash.
Say it again. One more again. Please welcome the author, Tom Burrell. There is a chapter in this book where you talk about the fact, Tom, that we black folk have been bred to be led.
Bred to be led.
We've been bred to be led. Tell me more.
Well, it starts with the idea, Tavis, that we were sold a bill of goods through false advertising back those 310 years ago that you're talking about. The myth of black inferiority. The idea, the big lie that somehow we were less than, not as good as white people. That was the claim. The thing that made it more devastating is the fact they put meat on those bones, and for the next 310 years waged a massive propaganda campaign through the media to substantiate that. The idea that we somehow were less than. The thing that makes it stick is that it is incessant, it never stops. As the media is developed, it is folded right into the media. The images that keep saying to us that we are indeed inferior. We bought it, and we not only bought it, but true to any kind of brainwashing, the brainwashed becomes a part of the brainwashing team. The abused become a part of the abusers. And that's where we are. We are the chief perpetrators of our own victimization. Okay? Now, in the chapter, we talk about disunity. All of the things that we're talking about as it relates to these problems, we would not be talking about if we were not bred to be disunited, to not work together, not to be together. We are 41 million people strong in this country. 41 million, that is a country. That is a country like Argentina, that is a country like Spain. We, in 2012, will be spending $1 trillion. That's the power that we have. Now, you can't tell me that with 41 million people united with $1 trillion, we can't get what we need from this government, okay?
But if the racist element in this country, which is very strong, decide that if the health bill passes, Obama is winning. He's going to pass the Republicans now, but he's fighting with his own Democratic brethren who have been hamstringing him as well. He's walking a very tight rope with no safety net under it. Now, if the media mistakes our loving critique, admonition, rebuke, and exhortation to our brother,
Tell it, Minister.
and then say that we hate him, and then use this as a stamp of approval on a death warrant for our brother, then none of us will ever be able to stand in front of our people again if they believe that we join this conversation as haters of our brother. So we want to make that very clear.
Love.
Very clear. Now, last point I'm making. The last point. If you don't like our brother, vote him out. We can bear to lose an election, but we cannot bear to make Michelle and her children fatherless and husbandless, as we saw with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I'm warning you, America, they got it on YouTube, should he be assassinated? That's right. And nobody's jumping on the preacher who's praying that God kills him. See, this is real in America when you disturb the powers that run things. I'll close with this. Our brother was selected before he was elected. Wait a minute. Now, all of you know something about kingmakers. When people in back rooms come to somebody who's popular, somebody who's intelligent, that don't speak with a Negro dialect. A light-skinned Negro that is non-threatening to white people because they can see themselves in him because he's part them and part us. This is political scheming, which Senator Reid got involved in. He didn't mean no harm. He was just talking about the white mentality.
Right. That's right.
So now, when you select a man, the man may never know what your purpose was. Because I understand that his initial victory in Iowa was financed largely by Goldman Sachs. I don't know the truth. That's what I've read. Now look, who selected a junior senator that hadn't even got his foot wet in the Senate and made him believe that he, from that position, could become president of the United States? I suggest to you that the people that looked at him and saw his brilliance, saw that that brilliance could be used for a purpose that was not our agenda. Now, I'm closing now. The people that chose him know the time that we are living at the end of America's rule as a great power in the world. Now you have to face it. She's bankrupt. What are you going to do when the dollar is worth nothing? They are printing money out of thin air to back these programs. So my brother may be disappointing some that thought he would be what maybe he has the nerve not to be. So I say to all of you in this room and all who are watching by television, we need to pray for our brother and his family and warn America, leave that brother alone.
Minister Farrakhan.
Let me.
Question. I have a question for Minister Farrakhan. And it's a very serious question. I heard what you said, and I understand what you're saying. But what you gave is, you just gave reasons why, to the average person that might be listening out there, and really I tell you, we're operating under fear right now. And the average person will now say, Minister Farrakhan said this, so I might not need to move. I might not need to do anything in terms of our agenda and our people to move. I know what you're saying. It can be said that that's why we don't need to do anything.
Right.
But you got millions of families, black families in America, black babies, black men, black women, who are suffering. Who speaks for them? Nobody in America right now speaks for black people, whether they're elected, anointed, or appointed. Whenever they mention black people, they say minority, or they say women, Hispanic, black people. The Latino community, Hispanic is really, first of all, not a race, it's a culture. And so they come together around common cause to get something. We work with Latino, we didn't work with Hispanic, we work with the Latino, which is a whole different thing. So you have Gutierrez who have no problems talking about the Latino community. You have your white Tea Party, you have Lipinski, all the rest of them talking about the white community. You have labor, and I know a lot of folks with labor in here, pushing bills, but at the same time they won't allow black folks to get in the unions. You have them saying, bring us the shovel-ready projects, and you drive down the Dan Ryan or drive down 47th Street or 55th Street, don't see no black folks working. So we have to, and I guess I'm just free. Dr. King gave his life. Dr. King said, if you're not ready to die, don't go to war.
Say that again.
If you're not ready to die, don't go to war. Wear your cemetery suit, because there's going to be some casualty. Not that I want our president. I'm saying that in our community right now, there is no other community in this country that's suffering more than us. You said America's coming to its end, and I'm going to end this tab, because I want to tell him.
I'm going to jump in, yeah.
I'm going to say, but with us, those of us who are descendants of enslaved Africans in America, we have no currency in no country. We have a continent, but we have no currency in country, which means that we have a right to the resources because of all the things that you said we've done. So that's my concern right now.
Let me jump in.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, it is so important that we get to realize that this topic is deep, and the betrayal of black leaders who are trusted to serve the interest of their people. We can look at this through multiple angles. First, it is historical. Second is political, economic, and psychological. The first thing that I would like to talk about as a person who is interested in understanding how this unravels, because black people wake up in the morning, vote for the person that they want to vote for, but at the end of the day, they don't represent their needs. Or if they represent their needs, what happens is that they end up betraying black folks, and they make the system continue. Instead of serving black interest, they go ahead and not serve black interest. So this is what has been happening. And the first thing that I would like to talk about is the systemic pressure and co-opting of black leaders. One of the biggest reasons black leaders betray their people is the pressure exerted by the very system they are supposed to challenge. Many black leaders enter politics or leadership roles with good intentions, but they face an uphill battle against the institution designed to suppress the real change. Things which put people to have the system pressure first is financial and political incentives. Many black leaders are given access to power, wealth, or positions of influence that they might lose if they aggressively push for black interest. Instead of challenging the system, they assimilate into it. Also, we talk about threats and intimidation. Historical strong black leaders who refuse to be controlled, for example, Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, and Dr. King, were either assassinated or undermined. This creates fear among new leaders, making them hesitant to push too hard. Also, we talk about controlled opposition. Some black leaders are selected and promoted by white elites precisely because they are willing to compromise. They serve as gatekeepers, giving the illusion of black representation while ensuring that the real systemic change never happens. That's really important. They act as gatekeepers, and they give the illusion of having black interest at hand. But at the end of the day, they are relaying information to the white elites who want to have this power, who want to control the things that are happening. Right now, I'm also going to be talking about the second thing that I'm going to be talking about is individualism versus collective progress. Another major factor is that many leaders, once they gain power, start prioritizing the individual success over collective progress of their people. There is that internal conflict. You as a black person, should I serve my people or should I serve myself? You're left asking yourself that question. Now, self-preservation over sacrifice. Leaders who get comfortable with wealth, political power, or elite circles often no longer feel connected to the struggle of everyday black people. They begin to see themselves as above the people they once represented. Also, like to talk about Western political influence. The Western political system is structured around individual ambitions, not collective empowerment. Many leaders are trained in Western political thought, which prioritizes career advancement over community service. It is more of individualism as compared to collective progress that people or that a person usually have in regards to their people or the people that they should be representing or the people that they once represented. I'm also going to be talking about psychological manipulation and conditioning. Black leaders, like all people, are shaped by the environment. Many have been psychologically conditioned to believe that working within the system is the only way forward, even when the system has historically worked against black people. First, there is a difference between education and indoctrination. Many leaders are trained in institutions that teach them to view radical black empowerment as dangerous or unrealistic. They are taught to seek respectability instead of transformation. I'm going to be talking about, when you talk about psychological manipulation and conditioning, we also need to highlight what is called divide and conquer tactics. The system often elevates certain black leaders as acceptable voices while demonizing others who advocate for more radical change. This creates division within the black community and weakens the collective resistance. There's a group of people that plays a big role in making this happen. The elites. The elites are the ones who are making this so hard. Now, many black leaders are supported, funded, or even selected by white elites who have no interest in black liberation. Talk about corporate sponsorship and political donations. Many black politicians, activists, and celebrities receive financial backing from corporations or political donors who do not want real systemic change. Talk about media control. The media plays a role in shaping who becomes the black leader. Those who challenge the system too aggressively are blacklisted, while those who play the system's role are given a platform. Let's talk about the historical pattern of betrayal. Let's look at the patterns which have existed for centuries. Booker T. Washington versus W.E. Du Bois. Booker T. Washington promoted economic self-sufficiency for black people, but also encouraged cooperation with the white power structures. While Du Bois pushed for a more radical approach, Washington was favored by white elites. Talk about Jesse Jackson and A.I. Shapton. These are leaders. These leaders have been accused of using black struggles for personal gain, while failing to push for true systemic change. Look at Barack Obama. While his presidency was historic, many black critics argue that he did little to advance political that directly benefit black community. In this case, what are we yet to see? Do you think that if black folks in the United States choose a new leader, it will bring change? That's a question that I'd like to pose to you. And I go on by saying, what can we do about this? If black people want leaders who truly serve their interests, they must do this. First, stop worshipping politicians and celebrities as saviors. Real change comes from grassroots movements, not just individuals. 2. Support independent black institutions that are not funded or controlled by white elites. 3. Hold leaders accountable and be willing to replace them if they sell out. 4. Educate the community about historical betrayals and how to recognize them. That's it. So guys, tell me what you think about this. As usually know, these are presented Unique Stories, and I'm hoping to see you on my next video. If you're watching this video for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to our channel, join our membership, really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.